People navigating a legal problem in Canada often can't access a person to help them with it. At People's Law School, we're using artificial intelligence to power our chatbot, Beagle Plus, to help fill that gap. Here's a real life example of how it works. Vivian's dad just passed away. In his will, he named Vivian as his executor. On the People's Law School website at peopleslawschool.ca, she opens up Beagle Plus and asks, my dad's will left everything, some money in the bank and his car, to my sister and I. Do I have to go through probate? And Beagle Plus responds, to determine if you need to go through the probate process for your dad's estate, there are a few factors to consider. Probate is a legal process that confirms that a will is valid, gives the executor authority. Not all estates require probate. Here are some key points to keep in mind, and then walks through the factors in play: the value of the estate. If it's less than $25,000, probate is generally not required, though it's up to the institutions that hold the assets. Joint ownership can play a role, as can designated beneficiaries, and then wraps up with a few final comments and a link to a page on our People's Law School website that is a deeper dive guiding someone through the probate process. Vivian goes on then to wonder what forms are involved and where can I find them? And Beagle responds, if you need to apply for probate, there are several forms you would typically need to complete, and then provides a list of the main ones: the main submission for estate grant, several affidavits, the original will, and so on, and then provides a link to where those forms can be downloaded from the government website, fillable PDFs, as well as step-by-step instructions that can help her dig into the forms to complete them herself. So what we've seen is how Beagle Plus uses generative AI together with the high-quality legal information on our People's Law School websites to guide people, whether they're navigating a problem on their own or with help, through their rights and possible next steps to work out legal problems. Let's zoom out and look at the problem Beagle Plus is trying to help with. Canada has an access to justice crisis. Most people don't have access to adequate assistance to deal with legal problems that come up in their daily lives. A recent Statistics Canada survey showed that just 1/3 of Canadians contact a legal professional to resolve serious legal problems. The same survey shed light on options people turn to more often, such as searching the internet and contacting friends and family. And it reveals that people rate these options as quite helpful, as they do contacting a community organization. Not quite as helpful as contacting a legal professional, but surprisingly close. With this backdrop, we saw a generative AI-powered chatbot as a way to meet people where they increasingly are, online, with plain language, empowering information from a trusted community organization, tailored to their situation, and that can be scaled in a way that people can't. Once built, Beagle Plus can help vastly more British Columbians at a manageable cost as compared to people-powered supports. Who is People's Law School, you might be asking? We're a nonprofit in British Columbia that provides public legal education. We're a modest but nimble team. Here's our full group, led by Executive Director Patricia Byrne. I'm Drew Jackson, the digital and content lead at People's. We reach 1 million plus British Columbians every year with legal education through our websites, webinars, booklets, and now a Gen AI-powered chatbot. Part of what allowed us to be an early adopter in using generative AI with our chatbot is our commitment to innovation. We're open to new technologies and approaches. Back in 2020, we saw the potential of chatbots in helping people with their legal questions. So we developed Beagle, based on an earlier generation of AI that used carefully scripted conversations behind the scenes that the AI would try to match to people's situations. Sadly, Beagle 1.0 wasn't as helpful as we'd hoped. People's problems are inevitably nuanced, and the bot's scripted conversations were too generic. But when Gen AI emerged, we were well positioned to move quickly, but not too quickly. In developing Beagle Plus, we spent a lot of time testing and adjusting it and didn't release Beagle Plus until we were confident it was giving highly accurate, helpful responses. Here are a few key pieces of how we built Beagle Plus with the help of our amazing tech partner, TangoWork. We used ChatGPT's flagship model. We use a system prompt to tell Beagle Plus how to be. For example, we tell it to be empathetic, to think step by step, and to write at a grade 8 level. And we give it relevant content from our websites and tell it to use that content to provide its response. This approach is called Retrieval Augmented Generation, RAG. It's central to what makes Beagle Plus accurate and helpful. It's basing its responses on hundreds of pages of step-by-step guidance developed by our team, content that is BC specific in plain language and reviewed by practicing lawyers for legal accuracy. As we developed Beagle Plus, we tried many configurations using a data set of test questions. These were nuanced questions, not easy ones, from real people. Our team of 3 reviewers, all lawyers, assessed every response from Beagle across 2 dimensions. Safety: was the response legally accurate on points that affect someone's legal rights or steps they might take? And value: was the response helpful, empowering the person to take a next step in resolving or avoiding a legal issue? Only when Beagle Plus achieved 99% accuracy did we feel we were ready to launch. In February 2024, we went live on both of our principal websites, peopleslawschool.ca for guidance on everyday legal problems, and diallaw.ca for starting point information on a broader range of legal problems yet again. Now, what about the results? In its first year, Beagle Plus helped over 7,000 people. This was up by 60% from the use of Beagle 1.0. Our team of lawyer content developers has continued to review every conversation, and we've maintained a 99% accuracy rate. As importantly, 79% of people who have used Beagle Plus have said it was helpful. This is up dramatically from Beagle 1.0, and the range of ways Beagle Plus is helping people is striking. For Vivian, our user you first met at the beginning, Beagle Plus provides on-call access to help her deal with the many issues that come up with the death of a loved one. Vivian came back multiple times when working through the forms involved in making a probate application. So, for example, she asked, "I need to know how to fill out a P10 form." And Beagle Plus responded, "Filling out a P10 form involves listing all the deceased assets and the value as of the date of death," and walks through some of the key factors in play, and then links to more detailed guidance on filling out probate forms of varying types. For people who are earlier in their legal journeys, Beagle Plus helps to flag when going to a legal professional would be particularly helpful. So here's an example where Jamie asked a question about severance pay, having been in a job for a long time where there's a lot at stake, and having a lawyer's help can secure a much better outcome. How much severance am I entitled to after 19 years of service? And Beagle Plus responds, determining the amount of severance pay you're entitled to after 19 years depends on several factors. If your employment contract specifies the notice or severance you're to receive, that would be the starting point. However, your contract, if it doesn't specify details, you're entitled to reasonable notice. Factors that go into determining what is reasonable notice: the length of time you were in the job, your age, the type of job, and so on. And then goes on to say it's recommended to seek legal advice before accepting a severance package to ensure you're receiving what you are entitled to, and provides a link to more info on what kind of notice is required, where there's also links to free and low-cost legal help or other ways to find a lawyer. By contrast with other types of problems that don't have as much on the line, Beagle Plus typically highlights self-help steps. So let's look at an example where Marion had a problem with a neighbor's tree. She writes, "Can I cut the branches of my neighbor's tree that hang over into my yard?" And Beagle Plus responds with, "Yes, you can cut the branches of your neighbor's tree that hang over into your yard. This follows under what is known as the self-help rule. However, there are important guidelines to follow," and Beagle Plus explains what those guidelines are, offers some other suggestions. Good idea to talk with your neighbor first about the issue, and then provide some more detailed guidance on the page on trees and neighbors. We'll close with a sampling of comments from people, highlighting the various ways Beagle Plus helps them navigate legal issues, whether it's helping them problem solve, or to level a playing field as they represent themselves, or to prep for a meeting with a lawyer. Beagle Plus is providing accurate, helpful information to guide people through their situation and position them to take action. We invite you to try out Beagle Plus if you haven't already. You can find Beagle Plus on the web at peopleslawschool.ca and diallaw.ca, or on our People's Law School Facebook page. Bridging the access to justice gap in Canada can benefit from innovative solutions, and we're excited to offer an approachable and helpful tool for British Columbians with Beagle Plus.